You know we are live, Mark, so there's...
I hear a whooshing sound.
It actually should be a whole lot more cussing going on if we are live, so...
We're live?
Yes, we are live, but...
How exciting!
But see, there's things about this show... Really, the only reason why a lot of people come to see this show now is because of the smoothest transition in the game, which I own right now.
Shut your mouth!
Well, and they come to hear Mark's rattling ass mouth too. So,
what's the smooth transition that Dimitri warned me about? What is that?
Let's see. I've got a cover screen up right now, and I'm about to do a transition where everybody can see us, and it's like the smoothest in the game. I don't know of anybody else that can pull off what I do, and I'll go ahead and do it right now.
Yeah.
I know everybody's waiting for this. Watch this right here. Wow, I mean,
I didn't see anything.
It just flows. I mean, it doesn't get any better. I know
what are you talking about?
nobody else likes it but me. But hey, I act like I got something going on in this game. But anyway, what is going on, folks? It is the True Vapor Show number 213, and yes, for the 6th time, we've got Phil Busardo back here on this show.
Is it the 6th time?
6th time you've made your presence on here. So
what's funny is that the first time I was on the show, you paid me $5,000 to be on the show. This time you paid me $5.95.
I know, man.
That is so messed up.
It's kind of like over the time I keep getting these good discounts, so and it all paid off. So
hey, I'm sorry I missed the 200th show.
No problem at all. No problem. I loved your little intro thing that you sent to me, so we put that up.
I hope people got a kick out of that. As a matter of fact, I got a little fig on my screen.
He loves that right there. He definitely loves that.
That much, that video. I'm gonna be honest with you. Almost made me break up with Dimitri in favor of Fagan. Like I was this close. It was this close. Because Dimitri's a talented guy, right? But when I saw, I didn't know Fagan could play the guitar.
Well,
and then when you add him playing the guitar butt ass naked, oh my God,
it's pretty crazy.
Unbelievable.
It is pretty crazy. Well, let's do this real quick. Take it away, Mr. Mark Fagan. Let's start handing this around real quick.
All right. We got the Valerian with the BTFC. I am vaping on the Adept with the Zly, not because Phil's here, because I enjoy this device every day.
You got paid well.
We got the Breeze, and we got some other pod systems. It's very pod heavy today. I don't remember the names, but there they are. We got the Club, and then juices. We got some 14 milligram pistache, some 12 milligram. Ooh, this is old unicorn milk, and then some 3 milligram Gorilla banana custard. There you go. Short and easy. Take it away, Mr. Michael Vapes.
Good evening, everyone. Sid, Greg, chat. Today I'm vaping on the Rebirth RDA on the dialysis from Watofo and Tony B. What are you guys laughing?
No, the names.
Oh, diatic. I said dialysis, right? My bad. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm vaping on that. I got some Royal Slush from RoyalVapeProducts.com there. Also vaping on Rebirth RDA on the Swell by Tony B and Damn, it's a Tony B show tonight, huh?
Yeah,
Tony
it is.
Vaping on that. I have some windowsill apple pie inside there. I'm also vaping on the Horizon Tech, I think it's called the Falcon Kit. Falcon King and the new Falcon mod, if I'm not mistaken. Inside there, I got some strawberry macaroon from Dinner Lady. Also vaping on the Breeze and a Caliburn. That's it. Take it away, Mr. Phil.
I was drinking my coffee there. Hey, folks, P. Busardo. I'm vaping on this brand new device here. From Valve, you might know that. No. I got a bunch of stuff in front of me here. I don't have anything by Tony B. I feel bad that I don't, because it's like the Tony B show, even though you have Phil Busardo on it. But no, I got my beep. I got my beep here in front of me. I got my old tried and true my Chroma with a Zenith. I too have an Adept, which I've really been liking. We'll talk about this one, but my Adept is different than yours. Can you tell? Can you tell? Okay, we'll talk about that. And what I got done just reviewing the other day, the Breeze, and usually when I get done with a review, I don't continue to use a product unless I really like that product. I really like this product. I really do. So yeah, we could talk about all that stuff. Oh, liquids, right? We do liquids too. A lot of Naked 100 stuff. I got All Melon, their Peachy Peach, and I got some stuff that Jennifer made me when she was here. She's a DIYer, and she's part of that program or that competition that we're doing with Flavor Art, the Make the Switch competition, and she made me a bunch of e-liquids that I've really, really been enjoying. As a matter of fact, see, that's one thing you can't do. You can't make me an e-liquid or a bunch of e-liquids and then not have me go, Jennifer, would you be willing to send me more of that one flavor that you made me? Because it was so good. That's going to happen, right? So she brought that on herself. That's her fault. So that is what I'm vaping.
All right. Well, I'm going to be doing one of Phil's favorites tonight. I'll start off with it. First off, the Carbon topside with the Asmodus. I won't say the first name, but the blank. Damn, he's got a big-ass cat right there.
Hello.
That's a nice pussy.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Also rocking the D-Salt, the Caliburn, and last but not least, yes, the Adept. Juices I'm rocking, I've got some of that pistache too. Also got some of the Royal Slush. I got the Nick Salt one right there. And my man, Mr. Batman, rocking that pineapple upside down cake. Good stuff there. So, you are back. You are back with us.
Did Phil just show a product he wasn't supposed to show?
Why do you say that?
The cat?
No, the tank.
Oh, no. Yeah, I can show it. So, that's the Adept, and it's got the Zlide on it, but that's the new Zlide. Okay, so that's the 24 millimeter 4 mil Zlide. When we put out the 2 mil Zlide, right away we got like a whole bunch of complaints. People loving the tank, but they want a 4 mil version of it. We were gonna kind of keep the 4 mil to the Zenith line. My other fear was with top fill, if you're doing 4 mil, that's a fair amount of liquid on there. So when the top is open, you could potentially push the liquid down and flood the coil. So we did a bunch of experimentation with the slide filling on the top. We figured out that we can still move forward with the 4 mil. It's not going to be as, what's the word I'm looking for, as gurgle proof as the Zenith, because the Zenith, when you open up the top, it shuts down the liquid flow, right? But it still works. I mean, you can open it up, you can get your e-liquid in, you close it up, and it won't gurgle. So, yeah, that's the new tank that's coming out.
Well, usually with sliding top fill, I think that's what's awesome about it is because when you have a screw on top fill, what you're doing is you're applying pressure. You're pushing down.
Yeah.
With the sliding mechanism, you're not really pushing down on it. So.
Yeah, but the problem is, Mike, no, and I totally agree with you. Yeah, if you have any kind of twisting going on, unless you do the twisting really, really right, so the last thing that happens is the seal happens, right? You're okay, and you're not going to create any pressure. The problem is when you release the vacuum, when you open up the top, you still have the potential to flood because it's the e-liquid itself pushing down on the on the bottom of the coil. Right? So what we realized with the slide mechanism, we can go forward with the 4 mil. So we got the 4 mil coming. That should be soon. I'm not sure if that's going to happen first or the 4 mil beep pod, which is finally coming. Finally. But yeah, we got that, and then we're launching a new product in Paris.
So the new tank is still going to use the original coils, though, correct?
Oh God, yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Everything's going to use the Zenith coil or the Z coil. The coil was originally called the Zenith coil because that's what the coil was. Is that what you do, Scott? You just kind of sit there and you look off to the side. You don't look at anybody when you're doing the show.
No.
Is that what you do?
Well, hold on. Let me explain, because obviously you have.
I'm just trying to figure it out because it doesn't look like you're joining the show. It looks like you're talking to somebody else off camera. I don't like.
Hold on. See, because I've had many comments about this.
Okay, explain it to me.
The way I'm set up, my camera is right right there.
There it is. Yeah, I know. You're pointing
Okay,
at
okay.
it. You're pointing
But
at
hold on, let me back up. So I've got a monitor right here, and then I've got another monitor like way over here.
Right.
Now I've got y'all on this monitor way over here. I keep my chat in the middle and like that. So it's kind of like I'm looking all over the place. But honestly, people have commented in chat going, why don't you look at the camera? And I kind of look at it like this. I'd rather not keep just staring like that the whole time. I kind of like having my own thing going.
Well, all right, it makes sense, but I think at this point in the game, you can use some of that money that Mike Vapes is making and just hire somebody to monitor the chat, right? And then just like get all the questions that way. That's what I would do, right?
I got Steve doing that for me.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so now that you've really thrown me off guard here, let me think.
That's my job. That's what I do.
I know. So okay, so the coils are still good on the 24. You're not doing.
Yeah. So so originally, like I said, it was called the Zenith coil because it did go in the Zenith. And I told them right away as soon as we started to use that same coil in other products, which was the original goal, is that we can't call it the Zenith coil anymore because that coil is used in the Zenith 22 millimeter, the Zenith 24 millimeter, the Zenith 22 or the Zlide 22 2 milliliter. Now the Zlide 24 4 milliliter. It's used in the Beep. It's going to be used in a couple other products. So we changed the name of the Zenith coil to the Z coil. It's just called the Z coil now. And the new packaging is going to reflect that because you can see the packaging here. It does say it's a Zenith coil. So eventually you're going to see the new boxes come out and they'll say Z coil on it. And yes, of course, it is going to use that same coil. And we do have at least 2 other coils coming out in the Z coil line.
Okay.
Coming out in a kit or just a tank? Someone asked, is it coming out in a kit or just the tank itself?
The 4 mil Zlide?
Yeah.
It's going to come out probably both.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much I can talk about. All I can say is that the new device that we have coming out, and this is something that we can get into when we start talking about the Breeze, like we were doing before the show started, is going to be a no adjustment device. So it's gonna adjust itself.
Or a pod system. Or a pod system, or another device like the Adept.
No, not a pod system. It's going to be it's going to be a tube. I can say this.
Right. So this new device is going to come with the 4 ml slide tank.
That's correct. Or you can get the 4 mil slide on its own too.
On its own. Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick, we got a donation from Curie Touchit. New Wave Dave 169. I don't know exactly what that means, but he says, "Hey Phil, any plans for a legal vape pod system video?"
I got the engineers in China. They're working on shrinking that legal vape 4000 down into a pod size. It's not flying. It's not flying. The good news is the way the legal vape 4000 is now, you're not going to have kids sneaking it into school. So I think we're going to leave it just the exact same the way it is, right? But that's a great question.
Well, I got a couple of topics I want to go into, but why don't we go ahead and go into this one first, because it could last a little bit, or maybe not. I haven't really had a chance to talk to you. Well, I hadn't talked to you face to face in almost 2 years. Last time we seen each other was at Foxwoods, Connecticut.
You know what? It's been a long time, not only for you, but really for all the boys, Fagan and Mike. I think Foxwoods was the last time we all saw each other together.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Now, are you all going to be at ECC?
I will be there, but Mark and Mike are not going to be attending this one. But,
what about Tampa?
Tampa?
Yeah.
What's Tampa? What's going on there?
What is it, VMX maybe? I could pull it up on a calendar here somewhere. Like, my travel is going to get so damn ridiculous again. I've been kind of like laying low a little bit in the summer, but end of August it picks up. We got ECC California, right? After that, I have to go to Greece for 2 weeks for an event there. We're going to go do kind of a tour of vape shops again there in Greece with Dimitri. After that, I got Vape Expo Paris, then Tampa VMX. Yeah, that's going to be October 10th through the 13th. I'm not sure. It's probably not all those days. Those might be just the days that Dimitri's going to be here. And then I got to do Germany again. I got to do Italy, and I got to do the UK. So it's going to get like absolutely crazy, insane again here real soon.
Well, I know I'm going to the UK
Okay, good.
October event. I'll be there.
Okay, that's Vape Jam.
No, not Vape Jam. Vape Jam is the. I heard it's terrible. The other one. I go to the one in Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Vapor Expo.
Mm-hmm.
That one's
Okay,
like
so-
the best in the UK vape event.
Yeah, so I think we're going to do that one too, but we also got asked by the Vape Jam event because they kind of know that they're sliding a little bit to kind of work with them and try to get that show back on track. So Dimitri and I are working with them. We're going to do a couple seminars for that show. They have hopes to make that into a quality event again. They realize that they've lost track, and so we're going to help out there a little bit to the best of our ability.
Yeah, their last event was, from what I heard from people in the UK, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Well, my question to you is, and again, since we haven't talked in a while, a lot has happened in these past 2 years, and I'm kind of curious, and I guess go as far as what you can with it, but what do you think the future holds for us now in the vaping community and the industry, really?
It's a really good question. It's not necessarily a question for me. It's a better question for Dimitri because he has a lot more insight to that because he's more involved in that and the exact rules of the regulations and the PMTA that's coming up and everything. I honestly don't know. I've been saying this for a long time now. I don't think vaping is going to remain the way vaping is right now in the United States, right? I think it's going to change. Do I think vaping is going to go away? No, I don't. But I think it's going to be very, very limited, but not necessarily limited to us, not necessarily limited to everybody who's watching this show right now. We know how to get our products, right? We have products. We know how to get our products. We know how to build. We know where to go to buy stuff, right? I don't think it's us who's going to be affected. I think it's going to affect the people that are actually. It's more important that they not be affected by this, right? And that's the smokers. That's the smokers who are just walking around and they want to try to vape. And if all vape shops go away because they can't carry any product, right? Because there's no product to carry at that point. Well, what are they going to do? I mean, maybe they'll all be juuling. I don't know. I don't know if that's really a good thing. I think selection and variety and flavors. I think that's all very, very important to make a successful transition.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really concerned with what's going on in the United States, and it bothers me. It bothers me especially when you look overseas and you see they're putting vape shops in hospitals, right? I mean, they're putting vape shops in hospitals overseas, and they're trying to shut it down here, right? And it's just so frustrating because it always comes down to the same thing, Scott. It always comes down to the almighty dollar. I mean, it's like, who's not getting paid, and they're against it. Or the other problem here in the States too, and this happens all the time now. This is like the big thing. It's like, fuck the majority, right? It's that loud minority that makes a whole lot of noise that gets all the attention and all the rules and regulations get written around them.
Yeah.
I mean, just enough is enough. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it at this point. I still get the calls to action. I put them up on Taste Your Juice. I get information from the VTA. I put it up on Taste Your Juice. I get information from CASA. I put it up on Taste Your Juice. I don't really talk about it in my videos. Never have. Really never have. Because that's not my area of expertise. I don't like talking about stuff that I'm not like fully versed on. It's just Jesus Christ. We're talking about 95%. And, I don't know if you watched the last Smoker Show, but Dr. Farsalinos was on. And he said something really interesting about the study that came out with the at least as safe as 95 or at least safer or at least 95% safer than smoking cigarettes from the Royal College of Physicians. What he said is that number, they continue to look at that number, right? So they continue to do research and to find out the safety of vaping. That number has not changed. They haven't republished anything and said, "Oh, we were wrong. It's not 95. It's 80. It's not 95. It's 75." It's like they maintain that number, and that number is not just based on when that number was originally published,
Yeah.
That number still holds true today, right? So it's just, what is it? Is it the kids? I mean, we got to protect the kids. Just like I said, I don't know how many times I've said it before. Just enforce the law. Enforce the law. If a kid gets one of these things, okay, whoever got him it, like fines, prison time. I don't give a fuck. The shop that sold it to them, shut them down. Fines, levy fines. The parents, fine them. Jail time. I don't give a shit. Do whatever it takes to keep it out of the hands of the kids, right? But in the hands of mature adults who can make their own decisions and make their own choices.
Exactly. Because just like we've always talked about with kids that get a hold of cigarettes, I mean, that's an age-old thing right there. I did it myself as a kid. You know, the only person you can blame, well, I mean, not the only person you can blame. Well, it starts with parenting. It does start there. It definitely starts in the house, you know. But if you've got stores selling things to kids with no business doing it, yeah, they should reap what they do. You know, I mean, if you got to fine them, you know, whatever it takes.
Right.
And
well, you know, the other big problem too here, Scott, what I'm seeing, okay, is when I drive past vape shops now, they're no longer vape shops, right? Maybe they're suffering and they have to bring other things in. So I'm not seeing a vape shop being advertised. I'm seeing vape. I'm seeing CBD. I'm seeing glass. I'm seeing pipe. I'm seeing kratom. I'm seeing all this shit. And now we have news stories coming out saying that, you know, all these people are being hospitalized because of vaping. That's what they say, vaping, right? Yeah. And it's like vaping, it's being confused or twisted into drug use. No. And again, yeah, like I understand that vaping, you can vape THC, you can vape CBD, you can vape nicotine, you can vape just PG and VG and flavoring, right? But the fact that the term vape is being tied together and confused with you know with drug use now, that's just another bad thing, because now when the average Joe hears about vaping, you know, that's no good. That's no good. People are being hospitalized because of that, right? So it's just like every time I turn around, it's more fucking bad news, man. It's just more bad news, and
every day, every single
day,
and it's not going to get any better.
It's not going to get any better. It's just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse.
Damage has been done. Look, with alcohol, kids drinking alcohol, did they ban it? No. Cigarettes, did they do anything with that? No, it's still the same. Anybody could just purchase cigarettes of age. But with vaping, it's a different story. They just want to abolish it and get rid of it. So that shows you there's something else driving at.
Yeah.
Which is pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
Well, they make money off the kids drinking and vaping. They don't make money off the kids vaping yet. That's the thing.
Well, drinking and smoking, they don't make money off of kids vaping, and I agree with you. And you know, somebody once said to me that, well, you know, I think big tobacco is our biggest enemy. I don't think big tobacco is our biggest enemy. I think big pharma is a bigger enemy than big tobacco.
Well, they say big tobacco. That's another thing too. Is it's not that it's big tobacco. There is parts of tobacco. There are tobacco companies that are enemies, but there's also tobacco companies that aren't the enemy.
Right.
I think there's some tobacco companies that haven't gotten mixed up with vaping. Those are the ones that are enemy. I'm not sure who they are. I'm not 100% sure. But
no, I don't either. And again, like I said, that, you know, those are questions for Dimitri. But no, I agree with you.
But there's tobacco companies that have millions of dollars invested in vaping. You know, so.
Right. And you know, and there's also the tobacco companies that have, you know, millions, if not billions of dollars that aren't invested in vaping. So that's who we're fighting.
Yes.
You've got pharmaceutical companies that are worth billions of dollars. That's who we're fighting. You know, this industry has yet to get together and put its resources together and put its monies together to you know, really work together and fight this, whether it be through positive advertising, or, you know, trying to put legislation through. Look, I don't know what the answers are, but like the VTAs of the world, the CASAs, all of the different organizations, the federal organizations. I just wish that they can get together with the big players in the game, the big e-liquid producers, the big you can't really say hardware companies, because there really aren't any hardware companies in the U.S. to speak of, outside of Evolve, I guess, maybe, and some random hardware producers, like mech guys.
Yeah.
But it's just this industry's had so long to mature and so long to come together, and it hasn't happened, and I just don't have any hopes that it will. So just I listen, like I said, I listen to the calls to action. I do what I can do. I publicize what I can publicize, and then I hope for the best.
Yeah.
What else can I do at this point?
You can only live day by day with it, because you never know what you're going to get the next day with it. And I'm the same as you. My specialty is not advocacy at all. It's not mine. You've got key people out there that's what they do, and it's like anybody else. If you got a specialty, hey, that's who you look to. That's who you look to get your information from and everything else. All of us here on this panel can pass along information we've heard, but actually preaching it and everything else, there's people out there for that. Dimitri definitely being
right. And you know what, Scott? Even I feel like this is the better way to do the show. I feel like I'm more part of it now.
Oh my God, you're killing me! You're killing me.
So, and I agree with you. But even like passing information along, I'm talking to the wall right now. Even because I don't have a monitor right over here. Even passing information along, it depends on like where the information is coming from. Because sometimes you get information, and it might not even be the right information, and then you pass it along and you look like an idiot too, right? So even there, like I tend to, like, when Dimitri comes and says, share this article, I'll share that article, right? If there's a couple other people in the industry where if they come to me and they say, share this, I will share that, right? But, other people, I don't know where the information is coming from. I don't know if it's accurate. And that's the thing, like with my videos, I try to give completely accurate information, right? Whether it be through hooking a device up to a scope or checking battery levels or whatever, I try to give accurate information. And it would be the same way with advocacy, and I would hate to pass along bad information. So there's a lot of guys who do advocacy. They're going to do advocacy a lot better than I do. People call me an advocate. Yeah, I advocate for the industry, but how I do it. And the way I do is I try to get more people, involved with vaping and try to save some lives, right?
Yeah, if I've got questions, there's two people on my list I'm contacting. That's either Dimitri or Matt. Matt's pretty informative about everything. He keeps up with everything. So those are typically the guys I'll go to.
Yeah, Matt's good. I do. I've always had a lot of respect for Matt. I think Matt is a really level-headed guy. He's a very analytical guy. He looks at everything, and then when he does make up his mind, he's not afraid to put that out there, right? He's not afraid of what people are going to say about him or call him or talk about. He doesn't give a shit. He just puts the information out there, and I have a lot of respect for Matt because of that.
Exactly. All right. Well, next question. What made y'all think of doing a device like this?
Well, the Adept is not necessarily a platform device. It's more of an Anakin device with our input into it. I've been pushing them to do a shockproof, waterproof device for some time now. But I think what we wanted to do was we wanted to do it a little bit differently, right? We wanted to not give it all the bells and whistles because that was a segment of the market that wasn't touched yet. We have some devices out there, of course, the first one being the Aegis that came out, that does have all the bells and whistles, and it's a great product. I still use my Aegis mods. And then there was another one that came out that I did a review on. It's slipping my mind right now.
Jackaroo?
Yeah, the Jackaroo. Thank you, Mike. And there's going to be more that are coming out, but we said, the same thing that we always think about is like, well, how can we do this, but how can we make it a whole lot easier and a whole lot more approachable? well, let's just, give it auto sensing and give it 4 different power levels and still give it all the waterproof and the shock proof and the really, really good internal battery life too. And I love the battery in here. It reads low, and when I first saw that, I'm like, oh my God, what are they doing? And Daniel found it too. But I still get about 2 days of battery life with the Z coils on here, depending on which Z coil I'm using. The battery life is really good, just super, super easy to use. It's nice to look at, it feels good in the hand, and it just works. It just works.
My wife has a whole bunch of small devices, whether 18650, single 18650s, or built-in batteries like the one from Innigan. What's it called again? My mind just went blank.
The Chroma? The Chroma?
Yes, that one. She's got like 3 of those. And ever since I put that one in her hand, the Adept, with the slide, and she actually came out and said it to him. She's like, wow, she's like, this one here lasts long, the battery. She's like, I don't have to worry every day to charge.
Right.
So,
well, with you being her husband, she's not used to things that last very long.
Thank you.
Damn.
So yeah. As a matter of fact, my wife, when she got the Adept, she said the same thing, and she likes the fact that if it gets splashed around the pool or hanging out, she doesn't have to worry about it. So, and it's funny because people, and I've seen this a lot. People they start off being more comfortable with a small device, but as they get used to and they accept the fact that they're vapors and something appeals to them, whether it be a feature or a function or a look or battery life, they don't mind moving into something a little bit bigger. But we still need those smaller things around for the people who aren't comfortable, who aren't there yet. You know what I mean? So that's why I like when I see and you can put things out like the Gem Pen too, which works really good.
Like my wife doesn't like those style. Like she don't like this. Doesn't matter if a vape's good or these pod systems. She's not into that.
She doesn't like that.
No,
Interesting.
She wants a small mod. She wants a tank on top of it.
So there you go.
Or an MTL RTA.
Right. And
That's what
see,
she wants.
And that's what I like. That's what I like, and that's why we need to stay where we are right now, okay? Because your wife is one of those people where she doesn't want to use a pod. She doesn't want to use the Juul. She doesn't want to have that be her only option, right? That's why we need more options. That's why we need more devices, more options, more choices, more tanks, more liquids, more flavors. We need to have those options out there and available for people who haven't discovered vaping yet. And but it goes back to all this negative fucking press that we're getting every single day. I can only imagine what it looks like to a smoker. They see all this shit and they're like, fuck this, I'm just gonna smoke. I don't want to be messing around with all that stuff, right? And it's just this misinformation that's going on every single day. It's another reason why Dimitri and I do the Smoker Show. But it's the Smoker Show. It's the Smoker Show on YouTube. It's not fucking CNN. It's not MSNBC. It's not the New York Post. It's the Smoker Show on YouTube, right? How do we reach the number of people that CNN can, right? I'm trying to figure that out. I want to know how to do that.
It's very hard.
Yeah, it is. Well, and not only is it's not very hard.
Unless they're searching. Unless the smokers are searching
right,
for
right. But what I'm saying, it's not very hard. What it is very expensive.
Oh yeah, money, obviously.
Money, right? I mean, yeah, I can go on CNN. I can go on CNN, do ads, and I can do editorials. I can do all that stuff. All I need is $2 million.
No.
But the bad thing for a smoker is that, say he does sit down at the computer, pulls up YouTube. The only thing he knows what to type in that search bar, obviously, would be vape. Well, he pulls that up, and then he's like got a barrage of shit, and he's like, well, holy crap, where do I start?
Yeah, well, either that or like you pull up vape, and it's like battery exploding or people dying, people hospitalized. I mean, that's what you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna see.
Yeah, but I agree now, especially for people that walk into a shop that are still smoking, looking to get, on some type of device. I mean, where we're at today compared to where we were at a few years ago, I mean, there's something for everybody in there, no matter what. But
if the shop is good.
But one thing that I really do love now, I know people hate the pods. I know people are sick of them. But I've always stood by to say I feel like these are the number one devices right now that are actually getting people off cigarettes, because It's a quick delivery system. They're very easy to use. They're cheap. So if it's somebody that walks in there, they're like, well, do I want to spend $100 on this kit or maybe spend, 20 or 30 bucks and let me try this? And just in case I don't like it, I didn't just waste a whole lot of money. But there's so many options now that are on the cheaper side for people to walk in that's more dedicated to somebody of how they would smoke mouth along, opposed to going in looking for, going wide open on something. So,
right. And you know what? I agree with you, but you said something there that's very interesting. And I want to explore that. You said people don't like the pods.
What I mean is, like, people that are watching us right now, people on YouTube,
the hobbyists that watch YouTube don't like the pods.
They're sick of them because it's just something they don't really care for. But I mean, it's something that
I don't think they don't mind the pods. It's just how many pods are being made is the problem.
No.
Well, they want to see rebuildables, and the rebuildable market has China is not doing rebuildables.
Yeah, I like we're trying to put out the Aries 2, and there we kind of ran into some hesitation putting out the Aries 2 because the rebuildable market is definitely down. But I think I like the fact that there are now these pod systems. What I don't like the fact is that there are still those vape shops that are offering either the big stuff, the direct lung, the sub-ohming, and then they're offering that segment of pods that is just the pod and the salt nicotine and the 50 and that's it, right? I still want there to be that middle ground because I think that middle ground is a very, very satisfying ground. That standard nicotine, that 12 milligram, that pod that has we can say the Aspire. You want to call this a pod system? Let's call this a pod system, right? The Aspire Breeze NXT. The difference between this and some of the other pods is that I could put my 12 milligram standard nicotine in here. We don't like to say freebase, but I can, and I could be completely satisfied with this, right? So this is the kind of pod where I don't mind. I like it. I like this, right? Mm-hmm. And the Anakin EQS with the high power level that I can kind of get pretty, decently satisfied at a 12 milligram. It's those the really low powered pods that are trying to, last longer because they don't put out a lot of power. That they just don't have the hit for that standard, that freebase nicotine. Right?
Now let me ask you this, because I noticed you've really salt nic is not your thing.
No, not at all. I hate it. I just don't like it.
but have you ever actually sat down and tried some and ooh, I do like this particular one right here?
The only one. There's only one. There's only one, and it's not called. They don't call it salt nic. They call it silk nic, and it's made by a company in Canada, Vapes shop, and it is their silk. I got it here right in front of me. Their cafe vanilla. That right there. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's only a 12. It's only a 20, right? But it hits more like a freebase, right? So that's my problem with salt nic. Is it's too smooth for me. Number one, I don't like the way it makes me feel. Number two, there's I'm a throat hit vapor. I always have been. I always will be. Right? If I don't get, and I say it in all the videos, the sharp, thumpy, defined throat hit that I get, right? If I don't have that, I'm not satisfied. I don't care how much nicotine I'm getting. That's part of the experience for me. It's like a puzzle, right? And if that piece isn't in the middle, the whole thing falls apart, right? So it's vapor flavored throat hit. Vapor, believe it or not, is the least important thing to me, right? I never felt the need to see any more vapor than I saw smoke coming out of my cigarette, right? But flavor and throat hit, those two are very important. And I can have a flavor that I love and not have any throat hit and not vape that. I can have a flavor that is kind of okay but has a really solid throat hit. I would rather vape that than the flavor that I love that has no throat hit, if that makes any sense.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, it's for me, that's the equation that I need to be a happy vapor.
Well, and shockingly to me, I started off mouth to lung, just pretty much like everybody else did in this world. But then got into direct lung, and I thought, okay, direct lung is going to be my thing here on out. I don't really want to mess with mouth to lung. But then I started fooling around with some pod systems and then more, and then started messing around with some mouth-to-lung devices, and then kind of like, well, damn, I'm enjoying this now. It's kind of like it's brought me back to where I started, and I realized I'm enjoying this just as much as what I'm enjoying my other stuff. So I love to be able, like, during the day, I'll mess with this, but when I get home in the evenings, I'm back to this. So, you know, it's kind of like, I enjoy everything with vaping, though. I mean, it's all great to me, you know.
Right. And you know, it's what I say all the time, right? I don't care how you vape, as long as you're not smoking. So if you're switching your styles 50 times a day, and part of that style is not putting one of these in your mouth, well, then you're doing something right. Then that's a great style. That's the style that works for you. That's a great style. But if the style that you're using and you're still smoking, or you go back to cigarettes, well, that style didn't work for you. Find another style. Figure it out.
Well, hold on one second.
Yeah.
Now I can explain mine. What about yours?
Mine's the stunt pack. I have a stunt pack of cigarettes, right?
Oh, okay.
So, and if I open the stunt pack up, okay, you'll notice that there's only one cigarette missing from here. Okay,
smoking them.
No, the ones. This is the pack that I bought when I did the most important vape trick video. This was the cigarette. That cigarette came from this pack, and so that's how long I've had it. They're probably crunchy now. Yeah, they're crunchy.
He's like, I'm gonna go out and smoke one just to see real quick.
No, well, I tell you what. When we do the judging for the flavor art make the switch competition, because we are going to be judging two categories of flavors, but the goal of the competition is to create as close to a cigarette flavor as you can get. So it's a tobacco competition. One is a traditional, so it's going to be as close to a cigarette as you can get. The other one is going to be a flavored tobacco, so they can have a little bit of creativity with the tobacco. But I'm gonna have to have a cigarette. I got to remember, you know, what it's like, what that tastes like again. Will I inhale? Probably not, but I gotta get that taste in my mouth to judge this competition properly.
Let me ask you this: do you think that people that are trying to get off cigarettes into vaping, do you honestly think that they're looking for something that tastes like a cigarette still, or do you think that they're wanting something else? I mean, in people that you've talked with. Yeah.
I think it depends on a lot of things, right? I think it depends on the age, how long they've been smoking, what they smoke, how thick-headed they are, right? So I think that a lot of that goes into it, right? But I think for a certain generation, yeah, I think they still want to have that transition to be as smooth as possible. I personally believe that it is that tobacco. Now, how long that love affair with the tobacco flavor lasts, that's up to that person, right? With me, it didn't last very long. It was always like when I first started vaping, I just wanted something that tasted like a Marlboro Light. I didn't give a shit about flavors. Well, back then there weren't that many flavors anyway.
Exactly.
Right, but then when all of a sudden you vape peach, and you're like, holy shit, that's good. And then you vape watermelon, you're like, oh my God, that's so much better than these tobacco flavors, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like, you know, I think it's important to have flavors, but I also still think that it's important to have good tobaccos, and not just flavor foofy tobaccos, but like strong. Yeah, and it's hard to get that cigarette flavor, because we're not burning anything. We're not burning any paper. We're not burning any leaves, right? So it's hard to simulate that. But I still think good tobaccos are important for beginning vapors.
Quick shout out to Mick here. Thank you for the donation. He says a little something to go towards ST's next mouth-to-lung device. Well, thank you. I'll definitely use it. I think the only one in our crew would be Mark that's still kind of like towards some of the tobacco flavors. Maybe not full on tobacco, but you like that.
I could do like a sweeter tobacco, like the ripe vapes.
Like the RY4 type, you know.
Yeah, like an RY4 tobacco. I still enjoy those. Not like a straight, like, black note tobacco. I can't really do those. Where there's, like, no sweetness at all. But
yeah,
some of the sweeter ones I still enjoy. definitely.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Like I don't vape tobaccos myself personally. Like people still think that I love Boba's Bounty. That, like I'm a Boba's Bounty guy. I haven't been a Boba's Bounty guy for like years and years and years. But I still think that those tobacco flavors are important for the transitioning vapors. Like I said, how long they stay with those tobaccos once they discover all the wonderful flavors that we have available to us in vaping, and hopefully those flavors continue to remain there for us. Who knows? But there's going to be those stubborn people that are going to walk in there and like, I don't care about peach and I don't care about caramel and I don't care about. I just want to give me something that tastes like my cigarette.
I think everyone has to try them to realize that they're not going to find it. And once they try like a fruit or a custard or something, then they realize, okay, this is better. Because everyone, like when I first started vaping, I did everything to try to find that Newport juice. I bought like 10 menthols, and then I realized, okay, this ain't going to happen. There's no such thing as a Newport.
And that's actually interesting that you say that, because I was always under the impression, and I always felt like if you were a menthol smoker, you can find a liquid that simulates that a lot better than like if you were a Marlboro Light smoker.
Yeah, I could never find it.
And see, I got to give praises to the vape shop that I went to when I first started, because that was my first question. After buying a device, I was like, all right, well, he says, what flavor do you want? And I said, well, I want something that tastes like a cigarette.
Yeah.
And he looked at me, he says, I know you do, but he says, why don't you do me a favor and try something else here? He said, maybe you would like this a little bit better. So he gave me something that was a coffee flavored. And to this day, I'm so glad, because of the many people I've heard that have tried like the Marlboro Red flavor or Marlboro Light flavor, they say it tastes like a stale cigarette.
Yeah.
And, who wants that taste?
Yeah, I was the same way. When I went into the vape shop, I'm like, I want something that tastes like a cigarette. And the guy told me, no, why don't you try this? And the first liquid I actually purchased was Northern Lights Vanilla Custard. I don't know if you ever heard of Northern Lights.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Yeah, I tried that. It was 18 milligram, and I was like, I like this. This is good. So for me, it was all about then looking for vanilla custards. Then slowly I went into the strawberries. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, all these flavors. And
right. But see, what's interesting, what both of you guys said was very similar to what I said. Right? You both said that when you went in looking, you wanted that cigarette, right? That was the flavor that you wanted. Luckily, you had somebody there that was able to work with you, and you had your minds were open enough to try something else. But there's always going to be those people that are going to be like, no, take your coffee flavor and shove it up your ass and give me something that tastes like my cigarette, right? So it's good, and it's good for the vape shop too to make that suggestion, right? And maybe they can't sell you on something else, so they give you your tobacco flavor, but they also give you that coffee flavor. So when you get tired of this, or if you don't like it, try something else that you might like, right? Just anything to keep you vaping and keep you off of the cigarette, right?
Yeah, because the biggest scare to all that too, also, your mind's sitting here going crazy thinking, okay, what goes good with a cigarette? Well, my coffee, a beer, food. So you're thinking, well, are these flavors that I'm going to be vaping still going to go as good with all these other things that go hand in hand together? And I'm thinking, well, hey, a coffee vape with a cup of coffee, I mean, what could go wrong there? So, and luckily, I've said it, I vaped coffee for over a year when I first started. I loved it, didn't want anything else. And then I finally stepped outside the box. I tried a strawberry and I was like, holy shit. And that's about the time that, my profile opened up.
Yeah.
I started venturing into different avenues with things, but
yeah, I would say that watermelon did it for me. Watermelon was the flavor that opened me up to flavors.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. So, what else have we got going on? So y'all been pretty busy with Anakin here lately. Y'all have had at least, God, I want to say about 4 releases this year? Has it been that many?
Yeah, they've I don't want to say they're stepping up their game, but they're very, very focused on what they do and how they do it, right? They're not the kind of company that, like, towards the end of like Kanger, they were just like throwing everything at the wall and seeing what stuck, right? And the problem was, I think everything that they were throwing at the wall was bouncing off and hitting the floor. Where Innikin's, they're a lot more hesitant to just create anything and put it out there, right? They know their market. They know that they're probably maybe number one in the game now when it comes to conversion type products, right? And easy, simple type products. And you know, they've had a bunch of releases here recently. I know they're going to put out a couple other devices, a couple new coils, a couple new tanks. I really can't talk about too much of it other than the Zlide 4 mil. But yeah, there's nothing earth shattering, I don't think, but just quality, easy to use, satisfying product, which is good.
Of course.
So let me ask this. So products that are not really tied to y'all with y'all's name on it, let's say the gym pen, for example, do they still ask for y'all's advice before they would release that product, or is that just something?
Absolutely. We still have say and input to all of their products. Whether or not that input is used is another story, right? I mean, if it's a platform product, it's ours, right? So if it we have final say. We put our stamp on it before it gets shipped and before it goes. Their other product, we have a lot of input. We attend meetings. We talk about user interface, about design, and there's stuff that we just absolutely don't agree with. But it is an Innikin product, and it's how they want to do it, and we'll support it. And that's frustrating at times, as you can imagine, right? So yeah, we have input to pretty much everything. Whether or not they use the input on products that don't say platform on it, that's really up to them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I know that it seems like everything they've put out, I mean, some things take off quicker than others, but they've always made a product, and anytime I reviewed an Innikin product, it's like I feel like I always need to say that they always do things, to me, kind of more for the beginner than the advanced user. I think really the only advanced thing, or maybe an advanced user would really have like, oh yeah, I gotta have, was like when they did the Proton kit. Because very high wattage, you can do what you want, which was a great device, still is. But they've held true to being kind of dedicated more to the beginner style. And
they have, and that's one of the things that I respect about Innikin, because if you think about it, Innikin is a lot like, in a way, they're parallel to me and Dimitri, right? Me and Dimitri have always maintained how we vape. We've always been mouth to lung. So even when all the direct, and we started way before all the direct lung stuff came out. So we've been mouth to lung. All the direct lung stuff came out. All of the sub-ohm stuff came out. The low nicotine liquids, the high VG liquids. We've always maintained how we vape. Now, Dimitri, he's more likely to go direct lung every now and then. And he likes that style on occasion. He does. More so than I do, right? But like we've always maintained, Innikin has always maintained. So, and it's nice to see that. Whereas with other companies, I'm not going to name, the companies, I'm not going to throw them under the bus, but we've seen other companies just follow trends, right? That's all they do. They follow trends, right? So if this is what's hot, that's what they produce. If now the things switch, that's what they produce. Now we're going to pods. Well, now we're going to make pods, right? And now we're going to do that, right? Whereas Innikin just kind of maintains the course. They kind of hold the course. Yeah, they follow trends too, right? Of course they do, but I don't think as much as we see, other companies, and maybe to their detriment too. Absolutely to their detriment, because Innikin kind of they've lost market share in the U.S. We know that. They're trying to get it back. But they've also, they've put out really good product too. That like, oh God, what's their iSub B, right? iSub.
That last iSub they made was pretty good tank.
That's the thing. It is a pretty good tank. That is a good tank. It's an efficient tank. The flavor is good on that tank. Whether or not I use direct lung, I still know good direct lung, right? I mean, I can still taste flavor, and I can see how it's producing, and what kind of wattage it works with. I think the biggest problem with the I sub B tank is they called it the I sub B. It didn't have a catchy name. It wasn't a baby beast, right? And I think that's what that's what the market likes. That's what the market demands. So I think that they've done a couple things wrong there too, where they need to play the name game sometimes too, and kind of create that hype that you get with some of the other companies. But we even talked to them about doing a Ryan type device, and they were hesitant. They're like, why are we just going to make the same kind of device that everybody else is making right now, right? I mean, that's the kind of company they are. Yeah. Love it or not.
Well, it's true. We already have all those other companies making the same looking device.
I know. I got like 4 of them sitting up there, and I got a bunch of requests to review some others. But they're all very, very similar. Some are a little bit better doing things than others are. But again, it's that trend, it's that wave, and we see that. Like, I get requests to do pod reviews, maybe 2 a day.
Yeah, maybe.
2 at this point, 2 a day, and like I'm at a point now where, if it's a company I know, a big company, I'll say send it. The first thing I do is I put a 12 milligram in it. If it doesn't satisfy me, I don't review it, right? Because I want to review something because I actually use the stuff, right? So during the evaluation process, I want to be satisfied while I'm evaluating the product, right?
Yep.
But a lot of these companies, I just tell them. I'll tell them in the request when they send it to me. I'm like, guys, there's it's the same as everything else. Yeah. There's really no difference. And some of them really aren't any different. Like, some of them, they'll maybe throw a feature or a light or something in there to try to stand out and be a little bit different. They'll get my attention a little bit more than the next guy that just made something that's exactly the same as everything else that's out there, right?
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know this info. For your products, the platform line, or for Anakin products, what country is the #1 country for purchasing these products?
Well, that depends, right? It depends on the line or the product line. I can tell you for the Zenith, it's France for us. France. The platform products do much better overseas than they do here in the United States. Now, that tells me something, right? And that should tell everybody something. It tells me that they are much more interested in conversions overseas than they are at a lot of the vape shops in the U.S. It's an unfortunate truth, but it is the truth, right? We're extremely popular in France, in Italy, in the UK, in Greece. Not so much in the United States. Now, in the United States, they tend to want, like, the Go Max, from what I understand, is doing really good in the U.S. Okay. And that's a direct lung sub-ohm disposable tank, or multi-use. We call it multi-use, right? And then you toss it. So
it's pretty much the reason I asked, because I kind of figured that would be the case. It wouldn't be the U.S. Usually, other products from other companies, U.S. is always the #1 country. But with Anakin stuff, I didn't think so. Only because of when we do reviews on the Anakin products, they tend not to get the views that the other products get.
Yeah.
And I think that's because of a majority of our subs are U.S. subs.
Yeah.
They're not interested in that product.
Mike, that's funny, because I really never thought about that. But yeah, Anakin views are normally, like, on U.S. side, kind of down, opposed to, especially for an American reviewer. So...
I also think that it depends on what the product is too, right? I think if Anakin put out a 300 watt box mod that shot laser beams out of the top, and you guys reviewed that, the numbers would probably be up, because that's something that's
true.
No, you don't think so?
I think the Proton got good views.
Proton didn't really get. No, I know. I watch, and when it came to like dual 18650 mods, the Proton did not get the views other ones get. And it's funny because the Proton, during the time when it came out, I thought it was the best dual 18650 mod.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Loved it. You know, I ranted and raved about that mod. I loved it, but it didn't get views. It's like people in the States weren't interested in the product for some reason.
Yeah, well, I think the other cause of that, the other reason was that is because Anakin didn't ride the wave. Okay, when everything went sub-ohm, when everything went high power, because if you think about it, the Proton was late to the game, right? They didn't really ride the wave that the rest of the companies rode. So that's where Anakin kind of dropped off in the United States. That's where they lost their market share, and they know it. Believe me, they know it. They're trying to recapture it. But they also know how well their products do with conversion and how well their products do overseas too.
Let me do this real quick before I lose it. Thank you for the donation there, Eddie Tooney. He says, Phil looks a lot more tan than when he spent summers in Rochester.
That's not true. Well, I tell you what, in Rochester it was easy because I had the tanning bed in the basement, right? So I would just go down in there, lie in there for 20 minutes to get my tan on. Now I actually have to go in the sun. And most of the times I'm just like either behind a laptop. Sometimes I'll be on the lanai in the laptop, but that's in the shade, right? Or behind. Mostly, like 90% of my life is behind a keyboard. Okay, whether it be with a camera or just on a keyboard, corresponding, working on product, doing promotions or whatever. That's most of my life, right? So there are times where I see myself and I'm like, you're a little pasty, Phil. You got to get in the sun a little bit, and I will. I'll go jump on the raft or go for a boat ride or something and get my tan back on and then go. But I try to have that golden brown look to myself. I always like the tan.
But speaking of a boat,
yeah,
you have disappointed me a little bit because you did make a video a long time ago stating, hey, I'm going to start doing some reviews out here on the boat, and I have yet to see one yet.
I'm going to actually tell you why, because I have one planned. So that I want to kind of go back to where I started doing the reviews, which was liquid reviews. For the most part, they were liquid reviews, right? And I want to do liquid reviews again, but I want to do liquid reviews for liquids that would appeal to me and people who vape like me, because I hear from a lot of people when I made the announcement that I was going to do liquid reviews, they were like, good. We want to see you do the liquid reviews again, but more important, we're interested in the liquids that you're interested in, which are the standard or the free-based nicotines, and in those 12 or 18 categories, right? So that's where I want to be. I got contacted by a few different companies, and if anybody who's watching the show knows of e-liquid companies that are in my wheelhouse, please let them get a hold of me. Don't just tell me about them. Just if you know them, have them get a hold of me, and we'll get some stuff in review. But I want because it's hard to do device reviews on the boat, especially when you're going through charts and graphs and everything like that, and you want to show the product on camera. It's a little bit harder. But liquid reviews are going to be great for the boat. When I made that announcement probably in the fall-ish, right? Maybe winter, fall. So what happens in Florida when we get into the summertime, fucking rains like every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day, right? And you look at it and it's like, oh my God, it's beautiful. You turn around, you grab your stuff, you go out to the boat, and there's like a big dark cloud, and it's coming. You're going to get rained on. So I just have to find that window where I can get out there and do more. In the winter, I'm going to be able to do a lot if I'm not traveling. But I had a boat review planned this week. So hopefully either tomorrow or Thursday, I'm going to get out on the boat and review some e-liquids. Yeah.
Cool deal.
Yeah, I think some of your best juice reviews were on the golf cart.
Golf cart, right? I know.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I got the cart here with me in Florida now, but I just want to do it from the boat. I just want to cruise around on the boat and talk about e-liquids.
Hold on. So the retirement home lets you have a golf cart on the premises?
Hey, now it's not a retirement home. Don't say, come on. For somebody who's retired, I work more now than I ever did when I was in corporate America.
I know. I can't keep up with you. You're always on the go. Quick shout out there to Alex from Vapors MD. We got folks from Russia watching in on this one. So, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah. Hey, Alex makes good tanks.
Yeah, he does. So, what else have we got going on? Anything else? I think you've pretty much covered everything you've got.
Nothing. The smoker show was postponed because I think Dimitri he's traveled. He's doing something with PMTA regulation and either learning more about it or doing consultation work right now. That's where he is right now. That's why we're not doing the smoker show today. We are going to do it on Thursday. We're still trying to do that every other Tuesday, but again, that gets really, really tricky when all the travel starts because, it's hard because you have sponsors for the show and you want to maintain that same day for the show and keep doing it, for the sponsors and for the people, who enjoy the show and watch the show. But it becomes a challenge when you start traveling again, but we'll do the best that we can with that.
Quick question. So, what day, or do you even know yet? I think maybe you were talking behind the scenes a little bit. Do you know what day you're going to ECC?
I know we're doing a seminar at ECC. We're doing the Back to the Basics seminar. We got to do some more that's another. We have to travel at least 2 more times for that because we have to give that seminar training course to a couple of companies. But I think we leave the 29th and come back the 2nd.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So that's like I think the 29th is a Thursday, if I'm correct.
The 29th is, in fact, a Thursday, yeah. And then I get back, and then I got about a week, and then I go to Greece for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm going from Thursday to Monday also. So that's when I leave out. Oh, cool deal.
Yep. Looking forward to seeing you in Cali.
Definitely. Yeah, like I said, we haven't seen each other since Foxwoods. Wow.
Any idea who else is going there? You guys know or no?
I know Matt's going. Dimitri obviously will be there. Really, other than that, I don't.
So, Scott, let me ask you this, Scott. So now Fagan and Mike Vapes, they're not going to be there, right?
No.
Like how are you going to wipe your own ass? I mean, seriously, are you going to be able to function without that?
I'm finally going to get off my training wheels and do one on my own. So
wow.
I know it's going to be pretty crazy. Actually, this will be, out of all the shows I've done, which I've done a decent amount, this will be the first one that none of the crew is going to be at. Normally, we're all together at these things, but
are you going by yourself?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah. So.
Oh wow. All right. Well, you hang out with us. That's one of the nice things, about going to these shows. You always have friends there.
Right? Oh yeah, so definitely.
And like when I go to shows, yeah, it's great to walk around. It's great to talk to people, and I love meeting people, especially people that I haven't met before. But it's always nice to have your safe zones, right? Those people that you could just kind of grab and pull aside and just have like nice, quiet, one-on-one conversations with. That's always a good feeling at the shows.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of did it with me last time. I'd like to maybe do it with you on how, you did like a little interview with me. I think I'd like to do one with you if we can get, maybe a few minutes somewhere, got some downtime to do.
Well, aren't we fucking doing that right now? Isn't that kind of like what we're doing?
Well, no, this one will be completely non-vape related. So,
I love it. I love it. Oh my God. Yeah. Like Phil, when did you start vaping? I started.
Yeah.
What did you start vaping with? I started vaping with a Joy 510.
Yeah. This will definitely be off the charts. Will people be like, "What the hell?"
This will be more like Phil. When did you lose your virginity?
Yeah, that's good. Let's talk about that. Like, okay, if I were to open up your refrigerator, what would I always find in there? Yeah.
Hell yeah. Another thing. So now that you've had time,
wait, hold on. I just want to answer Mike Vape's question. Mike, I'm still a virgin. So go ahead.
Since you've been in the new studio now, are you like, this is my thing, and where you used to be is just a thing of the past, or do you kind of miss the old studio?
Oh, I absolutely miss it. Well, first of all, I mean, it's not a studio. This isn't a studio. It's a working office, right? So it's just an office that I happen to have a camera and a light and lights here and a microphone and all that jazz going on. It works. It works for me. Okay, so I can scoot back and forth. I can work really fast in here. The table that I'm on right now is one of those power tables that it goes up, right?
Nice.
So usually when I'm doing close-ups or builds or anything, I raise the table up and I stand. It's easier for me to stand with the camera down and working on stuff like that. So that's how I do things. Am I really happy with this? No, I'm not. And the reason why I'm not happy with this is because the backdrop. I don't like my backdrop, right? I wish that I had, I could do more with my backdrop. Now, if I break into the media room, I could do something a lot nicer, but I'm not sure if that's something that I really want to do yet. Maybe in the future, I don't know. Maybe change this room around a little bit, because this room, I actually had more room in Rochester. Because that was a media room too, but I had the bar in the back. That bar was supposed to be where people were going to sit and eat and enjoy a movie. Well, that bar wound up becoming Vape Central, and they put the camera in front, and there was that wall behind me. But it was a very noticeable backdrop. People got used to that backdrop, right? And when I came here, like, everybody complained, like, we liked it better where you were before, and we liked the backdrop better before, and before you know it, I'm like losing views and losing like subscribers and everything. I'm like, really? Because the backdrop, like, what I'm saying doesn't fucking matter? I guess it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It is what it is. It is what it is.
People don't like change.
Yeah, right. So the first thing I did, I ran out and I bought like blue lights, like Mike has. I put blue lights. I figured that's gonna fix everything. Nah, it didn't fix a thing, right? So, I don't know. I might change things up. I might leave them the way they are. Who knows? I really don't know. Who knows how much longer I'm going to be reviewing too? I don't know.
Question. That's actually great that you said that, because that's actually a question I wanted to ask you. 10 months from now, or actually 9 months from now, where do we see Phil Busardo? What is Phil doing?
Why do you say 9 months? Is there a reason why you use that number?
Well, the PMTAs, all that. I guess vaping. We don't even know how China's going to react to this with products coming in. Phil, as a reviewer, what do we?
Well, I think nothing changes, and I think the reason why nothing changes is because, I think we're all pretty international at this point, Mike.
Well, this is more for the viewers. For me, I already know, but I want it just for the viewers, because the viewers think that it's over.
Absolutely, nothing's going to change. For the viewers, absolutely nothing is going to change, right? There will always be new product coming out. Whether or not that product is legal or not, that's not for me to say, right? I am looking at product. The product that I'm looking at can be sold legally throughout the world, right? Maybe not in the US, but it can be sold legally in other places, right? So I am reviewing that product for those other places. The same way you guys are going to continue to get product, to look at product, to review product. I don't think any of that is going to change. I think what has the potential to change, and even there, I don't know if it's going to happen or if it's going to happen right away, is what's going to happen in the vape shops, right? Like, what happens when they say, okay, everything that did not go through or is not going through the PMTA has got to be removed from the shelves, right? How many vape shops are going to do that? So that's my question. My gut feeling is that none of them are. All right, until the first ridiculous fine gets levied. Right? I think it's going to be business as usual until enforcement starts, if it's even possible to enforce. We have the new lawsuit that's going on right now with VTA, and I can't think of the name of the company. They partnered up with somebody that they're suing the FDA about the PMTA, saying that there's just no way possible that they're going to be able to put as much product through. It's onerous. It's this. It's that. It's the other thing. I would just like to see a reasonable PMTA put in place. Something that's affordable, something that's not going to favor just the rich and the super wealthy companies. Something that, even if it's like, I don't know, $100,000, I'm sure most of these companies can afford $100,000 to get your stuff, like officially registered and some testing behind it or whatever. I think it's good to have that registration and to have a reviewed, registered product on the market. But what it can't be, what it cannot be, is it cannot be something that only big tobacco can afford. That only big tobacco can have the attorneys and the scientists and the 500,000 page document that goes along with the product. It can't be. It's not fair. It's not right. It's not American, for Christ's sake.
You know what? Speaking of that, it just prompted me to ask you this question now. So, if they reach out to you and say, "Hey, Phil, would you review the IQOS?" Would you do it?
No. Absolutely not. First of all, the IQOS, go back and watch the last Smoker Show. It is not as safe as vaping. Okay? Yes, it is harm reduction. Okay? But if vaping is at least 95% safer than smoking, I think the IQOS was like at least 75% safer than smoking. All right? Dr. F wasn't really willing to put like a firm number against it. But, I would love for the Royal College of Physicians to look at the IQOS and put a number against it. We know that vaping is 95%. What's the IQOS number?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, the IQOS is tobacco. It's like a cigarette. Basically,
Yes.
you see the stick is a cigarette, right? It's a cigarette that's probably laced with all of the same chemicals that a regular cigarette is, plus it's injected with VG to make more vapor. Right. And that's not something that I want to review. That's not something that I want to use. That's not something that I want to do to my body. But they are going to have an advantage over us, over our industry. They're going to have several advantages. Number one, they're presenting themselves a lot more professionally than vaping is. Their shops are more professional. Their employees are more professional. The product is small. It behaves like a cigarette. It tastes just like a cigarette. That's one of the biggest problems, right? If you look at like I always got to think like Juul is the enemy. IQOS is the enemy. Right? Big tobacco, they're the enemy. You got to think about why I do what I do. I do what I do so that people don't die of cancer, right? And if people don't die of cancer through the use of an IQOS or through the use of a Juul or through the use of a platform product, that's a win. You got to look at it that way.
Yeah.
Right? And, the problem with big tobacco is big tobacco has the ability and the professionalism and the money to put these products in the hands of more people than we can ever hope to. Right? So that's a benefit of having big tobacco on our side. That's a benefit of them getting these products out and the distribution that they have, right? So it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, you don't want to like big tobacco because they're big tobacco, but if they're helping people through vaping and not smoking anymore, well, that's got to be a good thing. You got to look at that as a good thing, right? But it's hard. It's like I said, it's a double-edged sword.
Gotcha. All right.
But the answer is no. I wouldn't be reviewing them. And then, that's another thing that bothers me too. Like when especially the shows, right? The shows and the events. Because I always feel like, vaping is us. Like we created vaping. Me, Mike Vapes, Scott, Vaping Fagan, everybody who's watching this show, YouTube, the internet, all of it. We are the ones that created vaping and made vaping as popular as it is today. It's not TV ads. It's not newspaper ads. This is like a grassroots thing. We created this thing that we call vaping. And now all of a sudden you see at our shows these shows are our shows,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
You got Juul there and you got IQOS there and you got my Blue there. And it's like, I look at that and I'm like, get the fuck off, get out of my sandbox. It's my sandbox. I didn't invite you in.
Be careful what you say about Blue, because ST is a supporter of Blue.
Hey, I did me and Mark did a review for them. I will say this though, that's what I started off with umpteen years ago, even though it did not work at first. But I look at it like this: it was a product, it vapes, and I reviewed it. That's the bottom line to it.
Right. But again, that goes back to the double-edged sword thing, right? So Blue maybe got you off of cigarettes, right? And Blue comes from big tobacco. So that's still a win. That's still from a world of tobacco harm reduction and not dying of cancer. That's still a win, whether that product came from Big Tobacco or came from Phil Busardo, right? Or Mike Vapes. How is your atomizer doing? Good?
Whose?
Yours.
Which one?
I don't know. Like, you got a lot of them out, right? You never send them to me, so I don't know.
Oh, hey, I'll send them to you, but you don't do direct lung.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter though. I can still show you some love. Like if I do it a video, like I mean, I like you, Mike. I can still say, look what Mike Vapes did. Look at this beautiful thing that Mike Vapes did. I show the packaging and everything. I'll say, look, Mike Vapes is a really good guy. Like, this doesn't vape at all like I do, so I don't know how it fucking works. But Mike Vapes made this, and you should.
There is a product coming out. Don't know when. Maybe after New Year's. That you're gonna like. That's all I can say.
Now, see, like everybody.
Rally.
Here we go. Here we go. Everybody's going back to the mouth to lung world. Like, everybody's a mouth to lung expert now again. It's like, oh, absolutely. Let me know about it. I would love to take a look. But yeah, like I told you guys that in the past. I said I would be, more than happy to show product. But I would even say in the video, like I would say that the same way I do. When I do a device review. And if I do a device review and the device comes with a direct lung tank, I focus on the device, but I do show the tank. I fill the tank up. I use the tank. I give my initial thoughts about the tank. But then I say the same thing in all the videos. Like, look, if you really want the lowdown on this tank, find a reviewer that does direct lung. That's their style, right? They'll be able to tell you more. I'm just showing you the basics, right? I would show the basics on your stuff.
No.
Do you have a favorite?
I wouldn't even charge, Mike. I wouldn't charge.
Oh, thank you.
Not a lot.
Do you got a favorite mid to high priced MTL RTA? Like in the K-Fun kind of price range?
K-Fun.
Still the K-Fun?
Still the K-Fun. The K-Fun Prime, and I also like the Skyline.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason why I like the Skyline, there's a couple reasons why I like the Skyline. Number one, the vape quality is fantastic. But also I've met the guy behind the Skyline several times now. I actually visited his shop in Greece. And he was the only guy who ever sat me down and opened up his spreadsheet to me, right? And showed me every part that goes into his atomizer, and then explained to me the difference between a true high-end device and like something that's claiming to be a high-end device, right? He went through and he showed me this part and how this part wasn't good enough and how he had to source this other part, which was like really within spec or really the kind of material that he wanted, right? He impressed me so much that number one, the product is fantastic. The guy behind it is fantastic. All the materials that go into it are fantastic. So I have a lot of respect for that. Yeah.
All right. I'm tempting fate tonight because we got serious storms rolling through right now. So Mark, you want to pull us up a randomizer? We're going to do a few little things here and then wrap this up. Because like I said, if I keep pushing it, I'm going to lose power all of a sudden because it's happened.
Where are you, Scott? I forgot where you are.
I'm West Tennessee.
West Tennessee. Yeah. Like usually like here too, we get, the storms come rolling through every day and we get brownouts all the time.
Yes.
All the time. I have never reset a clock on a microwave as much as I have here in Florida. And what the fuck? How do you spend that much money on a microwave and they can't put a fucking battery this big in there for it to remember the goddamn time? Are you serious?
Hell yeah. And
technology in this right now. It's unbelievable.
And it's dumping outside right now too, but the thunder keeps cracking all hard. So let's start off with Camelot tonight. We are going to be doing the X Chill line. So this is going to be again for U.S. residents only. And since my normal number giver has left me, Phil, will you give us a number, please?
Between what and what?
Let's say between 1 and 50.
1 and 50? Okay.
Let me get an actual number.
Oh, you want me to actually say the number out loud?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Well, the first number I came up with was 69, and then I realized that I suck at listening to rules. Okay,
Yep.
so then I came up with this this number 50 because that's my age. So between 1 and 50, 50. That's the number I came up with.
There we go. Take it away, Mark.
50 is, oh my God, it's ST Vapes. I shit you not.
Yes.
You won your own giveaway.
I love it.
Congrats, Esty.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do I have to pick another number now?
No.
This person might be Chinese. I'm not sure. Cherry Lee, Lai.
Cherry, I know Cherry. Cherry's fantastic. She's a sweetie.
Is she Chinese? Is she in China?
I don't know if she's from China. No, she's not because she just sent me something.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations, Cherry Lee. I think it's Lee. Lai.
She's in the States, Phil? She's in the States?
Yes, she is.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
Here we go.
All right. Actually, I wanted you to pick this number, but I'm going to have Mike do it because we really don't want to seem biased about this. But Brad's is doing an adept kit tonight. So, Mike, can I have a number, please?
12.
12. Here we go. 12 is the most popular age for vaping. Winner is CO Kid 26. Congratulations, CO Kid 26.
All right. All I need y'all both to do is contact me at stvapes72@gmail.com. I need you to send a photo ID with address and birth date on there, and we will get y'all squared up.
Hey, I have a question. Do you do U.S. only giveaways, or do you do giveaways all over the world?
Just U.S.
Oh my God, I really got to start doing that. So you know what? Like, so my contest. Let me tell you something. This is the God's honest truth. My contests, they're open to everybody in the world. But I say in the rules that if you win outside of the U.S., right, you have to pay shipping. And every time somebody who wins outside of the USA, I feel bad, and then I don't charge them shipping. Right? Just a couple of weeks ago, I had to send something to Romania. It was, I think, a $30 device. It cost me $150 to get something to Romania.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, that it is very expensive to ship over.
Very expensive. But I tell you what, let's do another giveaway. Can we do another giveaway?
Certainly. Are we?
I want Vape and Fagan to pick a number. Go ahead. Pick a number.
I'll go with the number.
Whoa! Before you pick, so we just doing U.S. residents?
Yes, just U.S. Yeah.
Okay, take it away.
All right. We'll do 28 for some reason. I don't know why, because I am 28. Here we go.
Yep,
28
it's
is
a 28 lie.
LabWorks. 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 Congratulations.
No, LabWorks is Australia.
Oh, sorry, LabWorks. Let's try that again. 28 is. Oh, this is Alan Kiyokane. Kiyookane.
What country is he in, Mark?
Yeah, give me a country where he's at.
I have no fucking clue. Kiyookane.
All right, well, we need you to do. Who is it, Alex? You said.
Alan.
Alan, give us a thumbs up or not if you are a U.S. resident. If you are,
Kiyookane.
we will give you.
See him in chat.
We will give you further direction.
Here's what we're gonna do. You guys figure out amongst yourselves who the winner is, right? And Scott, either let me send it to you or let me send it directly to them. But here's what I want to do. I got several prototypes, so you're gonna win it before you can buy it. That's the Zlide 24 millimeter 4 mil. Okay.
He's in Hawaii.
Yeah, so he's U.S.
Okay. So yeah, I'll send that out to you. No box, no nothing. It's a prototype, so you're gonna win it before you can buy it. There you go.
Damn, look at that. All right, well, I'm just gonna have him contact you and let you.
Sure.
Okay, so what does he? How does he need to contact you? Through what methods?
Email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Busardo at tasteyourjuice.com.
Bingo.
There you go. Look at Mark. Mark's on cue right there.
I'm on it.
Well, folks, I know we didn't look at chat a whole lot tonight, but when I got Phil on, there's always a bunch to talk about, and it's hard to pull away to keep looking at both. So I want to thank Phil for coming on with us again tonight. Always a pleasure having you on the show.
Scott, I really want to thank you. I just want you to know that I had a great time on the show, and I really look forward to seeing you at ECC too, my friend.
I want you to do this, Phil.
Yeah.
I want you to go back and watch at least the last 3 shows. I'm in the same position that I am right now, and this is the first time you're pointing this out. So
Yeah, but you gotta understand, he never got the chance to talk because Dimitri was on talking constantly.
that is true. Phil just kept sitting there looking at the camera.
Yeah, you know what? I like to find something that makes me happy, right? So like the last time I was on the show, like the dildos in the background with my Vape and Fig, and that just made me happy. So I pick on that. That's what I, and this is what made me happy on this show. So this is what I pick on. That's what I do.
Bill, have you noticed what's in the background behind him?
Behind the smoke.
No, behind Fagin. Look up to on the top right.
Hold on, let me click on him. Let me look. I saw the bra.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I'm talking about. The bra.
There's another penis up there now.
Yeah, he's got an assortment of things.
I don't buy these penises. People send them to me.
They used too.
Yeah, and I think they might be used. Like, I'm not buying these things. They're sending
Could
them.
very well be. You know, like I always thought, VF stood for vagina finder, but I guess not. Perhaps not. I don't know.
Oh, shit. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. Again, thank you, Phil, for coming on.
My pleasure, Scott.
Always a fun time, and we're definitely going to have you again. Now, even though I know everybody came to see Phil, we're going to do this right here. You're going to see the smoothest outro coming out. So watch this right here. Whoosh. Bam. God damn, it's so smooth. It just does things to me every time I see it. So, all right, folks, we're out of here. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.